Recently, Kyle Larson's emotions boiled over after a jaw-dropping accident at the Texas. You won't believe the intensity and rile frustration he released in the heat of the moment. Stay tight as we dig deep into the adrenaline-fueled world of NASCAR and witness Larson's explosive reaction like you've never seen before. But before we dive into that, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. The Cup Series races on speedways always bring some surprises, but the playoff race at Texas Motor Speedway took unpredictability to a whole new level. It was the first time this season that the drivers hit the track, and let me tell you, it was chaos from the get-go. Traction was a luxury, mechanical issues were rampant, and the sun's scorching heat added another layer of challenge. But here's the thing. These drivers showed incredible determination and grit. They turned every obstacle into mere dust as they battled it out to reach that checkered flag and outshine their competitors. One standout was Kyle Larson, who was on fire that Sunday. But you know how fate works in racing. It can be a fickle thing. In this case, it intervened, changing the course of the race and handing victory over to the 23XI racing team. Bubba Wallace had quite the turnaround in Texas after a challenging season. He finally started showing some serious improvement as he made his playoff debut, even securing a spot in the round of 12, although he was below the cut line in terms of points. But the real highlight came during Saturday's qualifier, when he delivered a flawless performance and earned himself the pole position. This was a significant achievement for Wallace, marking his first pole position of the current season and his second in his career. During the race, Wallace continued to impress. He led the most laps he's ever led in his career and even clocked the fastest lap of the race. His momentum was truly something to behold. He skillfully held onto his top spot, avoiding any on-track mishaps. However, his day took a dramatic turn when Kyle Larson came into the picture and started challenging him for the lead. But as fate would have it, a twist in the story was just around the corner. The turning point came when a caution was issued due to J.J. Yeley spinning out on the track. This led to Wallace and Larson going door to door, battling for the lead during the restart. Wallace initially had the upper hand in the restart, but in an attempt to regain his position, he made a pass that disrupted the airflow around his car. This unfortunate move caused him to spin out, effectively crushing his hopes of victory and relegating him to a disappointing 31st place finish. If things had gone as planned and not ended in a wreck, Kyle Larson could have secured Hendrick Motorsport's 300th NASCAR win. However, it was William Byron who ultimately achieved that milestone. Despite the disappointment, Larson discussed some positive takeaways from the race during his post-race interview with Front Stretch Media.
I mean, our race car was super fast, so we had an extremely fast car, so it was fun to drive and just a bummer. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get loose in like that underneath the 23. The next gen cars, that doesn't seem to be an issue, so I was trying to get my shape into one and should have gave a little bit more space. I don't think it's a byproduct of the car. I think if I could just replay it again, I would just give more space into one and race it out off of two, and eventually the bottom would have won out. So I was just trying to get it all too quickly and should have just worked for another corner.
Kyle Larson had been nothing short of sensational in the NASCAR playoffs. He dominated the competition as he entered the round of 12. However, as the action shifted to the Texas Motor Speedway, there was a lingering concern in the air. Despite his playoff dominance, Larson's history at Texas suggested he might have to tread cautiously. When it came to Texas, Kyle Larson's past experiences had been marked by caution. Over the years, he found himself in several challenging situations at this track. It was high time to revisit some of his remorseful races at Texas as they headed into the second round of the playoffs. In 2017, during the AAA Texas 500 NASCAR Cup Series race, Larson's car had erupted in flames after a crash. This incident resulted in a 10-minute red flag period. Despite leading laps and winning a stage, Larson's day had ended in disappointment, finishing 37th. In 2022, during the All-Star race at Texas Motor Speedway, Larson's bid for a third All-Star race victory had been cut short by a grinding crash. While running second, His car had into the wall in turn 4, causing significant damage. However, despite these incidents, Larson's resilience and talent remained undisputed. With this crash-prone history at Texas, it had been understandable why Larson and his team had approached the upcoming race with caution. While his playoff dominance had been impressive, the unpredictability of Texas had posed a significant challenge. Larson had known that maintaining his championship journey required avoiding potential pitfalls. Despite the disappointment, Larson's day didn't end the way he had hoped, and he fell short of making history in the last few races. Instead, it was William Byron who secured the historic win. As NASCAR heads to Talladega, the future remains uncertain for the Hendrick Motorsports team, and we'll have to see what's in store for them. NASCAR, known for its endurance races, is undergoing a dramatic shift towards shorter, snappier events, with iconic tracks like Atlanta, Bristol, Martinsville, and Texas seeing reduced race distances. The big question is whether these shorter races will deliver more intense, nail-biting finishes, or if they'll miss the legendary endurance test that set NASCAR apart. It's a high-speed intrigue that has fans and drivers buzzing. Kyle Larson recently shared his thoughts on this shift during an interview.
Honestly, I don't know if much changes other than, you have a little less time to get back to the front if you make a mistake. So I think that makes not making a mistake even more important. But 400 miles is still a long time. 500 miles felt like forever. So I'm glad that they shortened it some. But yeah, it does put a little bit more emphasis on executing.
The debate continues over whether reducing race distances is in NASCAR's best interest. Some argue that the extra 100 miles could be the crucial factor that differentiates a memorable race from a mundane one. Races like Bristol and Martinsville, known for their endurance challenges, have left fans wondering about the change in distance. Finding a middle ground between legendary endurance and exciting finishes is a challenge for NASCAR. One solution might be to incorporate 1 or 2 additional 500-mile events each year at different tracks, adding unpredictability and excitement to the series. NASCAR has always set itself apart by offering races that are more marathon than sprint, allowing for unique strategies. However, recent years have seen many of these long-haul races shortened, altering the pace of the sport. In the 2023 Cup Series schedule, races that were 500 miles or longer have become rare. As NASCAR navigates this new terrain of shortened distances, increased speed, and higher stakes, the sport finds itself at a thrilling crossroads. Whether these changes will lead to a more exhilarating future or take it away from its cherished roots remains to be seen. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more of our videos on NASCAR updates. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.